All right, episode 2 of Buffy season 2.
Yeah.
Some assembly required.
Yeah, this.
I told D Train at some point that I changed my mind what I thought this one. I thought this one was going to be at an assembly. That's where I thought this one was going to take
and
place.
you were wrong again.
I was wrong again. 0
Yeah.
for 2 this week.
So this aired September 22nd, 1997. You want to know what was going on television that night?
Yeah.
Well, ABC premiered the TV version of Time Cop. You familiar with that classic Jean-Claude Van Damme film?
Familiar, yeah.
Dude, you should watch it. It's a great movie. But they made
Is this best?
I ranked him at some point. It's up there, but it might not be the best. I like Hard Target. That's a really good one. I don't know.
He has great titles.
Yeah, he does. He's in like a lot of genuinely good movies, which is weird because like he's insane. But ABC premiered the Time Cop show. I watched it, Logan. It got canceled after 7 or 8 episodes, but I watched all of them. And so that was my Monday nights at this point. 8 o'clock, Time Cop. 9 o'clock, Buffy.
Wow. 9 o'clock. That seems a little late for Buffy.
That's when it was on, man. 8 o'clock, they had Seventh Heaven.
What channel is this, by the way, Buffy?
The WB.
Wow.
Yeah, the WB.
Is that like Riverdale, what that's on these days?
Well, there were 2 networks, WB and UPN, and then they merged and formed the CW, and that's what Riverdale's on.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point after season 5, Buffy switched from WB to UPN. UPN was like, "We'll give you more money," and they were like, "All right,
yeah, we'll take that."
Yeah. All right. So, all right. What else?
What else?
Monday Night Football that night. The Jaguars beat the Steelers 30-21.
Wow.
How about that? And CBS premiered Brooklyn South, which was a new police show created by Stephen Bochco, the creator of NYPD Blue. People were excited about it, but it didn't do well. Got canceled after a season. But I looked at the ratings for it, and like 12 million people watched that. They'd kill for those ratings today.
Yeah, that's crazy. What do shows get? People are lucky to get like 4 million or something.
Yeah, I know. Back then, like a hit got like 20-something million. It was crazy. All right. What happened on Monday Night Raw? Well, I'll tell you. Cactus Jack beat Triple H in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Switched between weeks.
Yeah, he was switching all the time. Yeah.
What's the Rumble where he comes in 3 times?
Probably around this time.
That's a great Rumble.
Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere. He beats Triple H, and then the main event, Bret Hart beat Goldust.
Wow, I love Goldust.
I do too.
Underrated.
He's still wrestling. He's in.
He's awesome.
AEW.
That's Cody Rhodes' brother.
It sure is. It sure is. All right. And over on Monday Nitro, WCW, Disco Inferno won the television championship from Alex Wright. Now, their gimmicks were both involved dancing.
Oh.
Yeah, because Disco Inferno was a disco guy, and then Alex Wright, he was sort of like a German club kid.
Okay.
All right. And then in the main event, Kurt Hennig again. Man, he's popular at this time. He retained his new title that he won the previous week against Jeff Jarrett.
Will we ever get into Chris Benoit?
Yeah, we will. But
will he kill his family during the run of Buffy?
I don't believe so. I think that's in like that's like a couple years after Buffy ends.
Damn.
But Jeff Jarrett, but also still wrestling. He actually had a match last night on AEW Dynamite. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know, it is crazy. All right.
I feel like he was at a Rumble semi recently, like within the last 5 years, maybe. Am I wrong about that?
I think he maybe was in one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember that.
But not anymore. He's with AEW. So Candle in the Wind 1997 was released in the U.S. this week and already rose to the top of the charts.
Wow.
Yeah. And you want to hear the top 5 movies that week?
Yeah, tell me.
Debuting at number 1, In and Out, that movie we were just talking about with Kevin Kline.
Why did we talk about it last week if it's debuting this week?
Well, because it premiered at the Toronto Film Festival, my friend.
Okay.
It's coming in at number 2, The Game.
Comes out a week after it premieres at Toronto Film Festival?
Yep.
Wow, that's fast.
Number 3, a film that we've covered on the podcast, Logan, starring my old friend, the Jinn.
Oh my God, wishes.
Wishes. Wishmaster. And debuting at number 4, which was very disappointing. It didn't do well at the box office, but then was later considered a classic. L.A. Confidential.
Mm-hmm.
And coming in at number 5, hanging in there again, The Full Monty.
All right.
You have anything else from that week?
Yeah, I do actually. There's a baseball player. I don't know anything about baseball, but this guy was born. He's pretty popular now, I guess. Whenever the Astros won the World Series a few years ago, he won the MVP. His name's Jeremy Pena.
Yeah.
He was born this day.
He's good.
This very day. So
how
there's
about
that guy. And then Marv Albert. He was like an announcer for the NBA for a whole
Yeah,
bunch of years.
his catchphrase was yes.
Yeah, he just retired also a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And he pled not guilty this day to forcible sodomy.
Yeah, I remember that. That was an interesting case because they knew he had done something with the lady, and here's why: he had bitten her chest, and they were able to get like his teeth marks to prove it was him.
Dummy.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, really insane.
Yeah.
You know why he did it?
Because he's horny.
Well, yeah, this guy, he was a real sex pest, as you would say.
Yeah.
But he had told her, like, find somebody to be in a threesome with us, like a guy, and she didn't do it. And he was real pissed, and he was like, hey, you're
I'm gonna
like,
use
put
my boner on you
in your mouth. Yeah. And she said no, but he didn't care. And then there was another case later that came up like during the trials where like a hotel person at a hotel was like, she had an encounter with him where he also did the same thing apparently. So,
wow.
Not great, Marv Albert.
Not a good look for Marv.
More like no.
No means no, Marv.
Because his catchphrase was
oh, right.
yes.
Yeah. No!
Did you see, by the way, Karl Malone is going to judge the dunk contest?
I can't fucking believe that.
Did you see a quote he said?
He fucking raped an 11-year-old girl, or 12 maybe. Either way, it's disgusting.
Who cares?
And like impregnated her. Like there are children out there in the world that are like, yup, Karl Malone raped my mom when she was 12.
Really? Like he has a child that?
Yes. As Marv Albert would say, yes.
Yeah, he had a quote about something. I don't know what it was talking about, but the quote ended where he said, "I won't take no for an answer."
I saw that. Are
Holy
you fucking
shit.
kidding me? Are you
can't
at all
that.
self-aware at all?
That has to be wiped off. You cannot say that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Karl Malone.
Yep.
Crazy stuff.
The mailman delivering bad news.
Yeah, so there we go. So as I mentioned last time, that one was in the top of IMDb. This one in the bottom 3. This one's 6.9. The ones below it at 6.7, Teacher's Pet, which should be higher than this, I think. That's a fun episode. And then 6.5, I, Robot You, Jane.
Yeah,
which I feel like this is about the same level.
No, this is better than that.
I said about the same level.
No, that's crazy.
You
like that episode too much.
Yeah, I like when the guy hung himself.
That's cool. Great. All right.
So we no.
Wait, I have to give you the creds.
What do you mean? The Giles intro creds?
No, the writer-directors.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The writer for this episode's a new one. He's by the name of Ty King. He only wrote 2 episodes of Buffy, but his second episode is super fucking significant. And then he left the show, and I always wondered why. And like to the point where after he left,
you could probably find out.
No, I tried to do research for years, Logan, when I was a huge Buffy fan, and you can't find anything about this guy. And so for a lot of time, people thought that it was a pseudonym for Joss Whedon. But it was like, why would he do that?
Well, like an Alan Smith, you do.
But then I looked him up on IMDb this time, and look at this. He wrote his own IMDb bio, and it is very descriptive. We know everything he's been up to.
Yeah, give it to me.
David Tyron Ty King was born in 1959 in the sleepy hamlet of Houston, Texas, a town perhaps best known as the birthplace of Beyonce.
I was born in Houston, Texas.
All right.
I guess same place as Beyonce.
Yeah, that's right. After an unremarkable childhood and traumatizing onset of puberty, Ty met Michelle Diane Todd in a 7th grade speech class, and the two were married to each other in either 1979 or 1980, depending on
He
which
doesn't
of them you
remember?
ask.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It was while attending college at the University of Texas that Ty first discovered a passion for writing and a fondness, some might say an overfondness, for quotation marks and
Oh
parentheses.
my god.
After graduating college, Ty and Michelle moved to Los Angeles, California, so that Ty might pursue a career writing for television, while Michelle came to question her decision to marry at such a young
Oh
age.
my goodness.
With the loving and tireless support of his wife, Ty King embarked on a 12-year career writing and producing for a string of television series, beginning with the NBC sitcom Family Ties in 1987. Over the next dozen years, he wrote and or produced and or developed and or watched many TV classics,
And or
including
watched.
Growing Pains, Newhart, Empty Nest, Hearts of Fire, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was while filming a television pilot in Vancouver in 1992 that Ty decided, and Michelle graciously agreed, that he and they would rather raise their two beautiful sons, Nicholas and Jonathan, and a third son whose name they couldn't recall and who later turned out to be apocryphal. Wow, that's a weird joke. In the Pacific Northwest, aka not Hollywood. Then some other stuff happened, and then some more other stuff happened. All right. So after Buffy, he quit
Oh, he's
the
a great writer.
biz. He quit the fucking biz, moved to the Pacific Northwest. Now, let's give you the update. In late 2020 or early 2021,
Depending on who you ask.
that it literally says that. That's the next line.
Oh my god.
Ty wrote what is probably the most annoying middle school chapter book in the history of middle school chapter books, The Super Secret Stewart Switching Society by Ty King, for which he shamelessly shills on Twitter and in his various writers' biographies. At some point in the future, he will die, probably of something easily preventable, and quickly be forgotten. Hopefully not before selling thousands of copies of the Super Secret Stewart Switching Society. But as of this morning, Ty and Michelle and Nicholas and Jonathan continue to live a quiet life of desperation. A life of quiet desperation in Mercer Island, Washington. The end. Author's note, Michelle King, née Todd, has lived her own incredible life of amazing personal accomplishment, but this isn't her biography.
What is the desperation thing about?
That's just a thing people say. It's probably a joke.
Okay. Wow, I've never heard something like that.
Yeah, that was wild to discover. So
Yeah.
so I always wondered why he never wrote another episode of Buffy. It's because he quit the business.
He was thinking about how he was gonna write that whole thing.
Yeah.
How am I gonna craft this story of my life? That was thanks for sharing that. That was amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Um,
Oh, and our director for this episode is returning director from season 1, Bruce Seth Green.
Yep. Teacher's Pet, The Pack, Nightmares. He did those 3.
I believe we see Seth Green next week.
Oh, actual Seth Green
Yeah.
for what was the one you
think-
said? The Inca Mummy Girl.
Yeah, I think that's his first step.
Wow. All right. Is he the Inca Mummy Girl?
Yep.
Wow, that's good casting. So, all right. So as we said, no mom, no Snyder. I think that's it. Angel's here. Everybody's here, kind of. Cordelia's here. Is Angel here?
Yeah,
Angel's
he's
here.
a regular.
All right. So, Angel 2 for 2 this season. Yeah, you're right. So, all right, we're in a cemetery.
I got news for you. He's going to be 22 for 22 this season.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Wonder what he was last season. So we open this episode and close this episode in a cemetery. I sort of like that.
Yeah.
But we're
Buffy's
here.
yo-yoing.
Oh, actually, I didn't even pick up on that. That's a great touch. I noticed something else. She's on a grave. She talks about, come on, Stefan. And is this from the Vampire Diaries?
Oh my god.
Is she waiting on Stefan?
Is that a character? Which one is that?
That's I was gonna say the sexy
Is it
one,
the
but they're
one
both
from
so fucking
Lost
sexy.
or the one with the underbite?
Who's from Lost?
The floppy-haired, black-haired one. Ian
It's
Somerhalder.
the other one. It's the other one.
The other one. Paul Wesley, who played um, the busboy that Ryan Atwood and Seth hang out with in episode 4 of the OC, and they take him to a high school party, and he whips out a gun, and Luke ends up getting shot.
Wow. I guess we'll get into it more when they go to the football game. I was going to talk to you about like more events they could go to.
Great.
Uh, but so yeah, so there we go. Angel arrives. He's there, and he's like, "Hey, Buffy, what's going on?" She sort of talks to him. She's like, "Hey, I did all that to make you jealous," and uh, what he's like, "Yeah, it didn't really work." He's sort of playing like it didn't work, but it did, right?
It clearly did. He was like, "What, you think I'm jealous of some 16-year-old?" And like, yeah, you clearly were, dude. You're fucking weird.
Yeah, we can tell. And then a vampire shows up. They kill the vampire, and then Buffy falls in a grave, and they notice that a body is missing. But not only that, it was dragged away. This wasn't the old vampire get up and walk away. This is something else, right?
Grave robbers in Sunnydale. News at 11.
So that's pretty cool. I guess it wouldn't be. What if that happened in real life? That wouldn't be that cool. But so we go to the
I think it still
library.
would be kind of cool.
Really?
Grave robbing? That's
What if they
interesting.
dug up like your uncle?
I don't care.
Okay. All right. So we go to the library and Buffy's like, "Hey guys, fucking a body was dug up," and they're like, "Oh shit!" And she tells them it's Meredith Todd. That's the name of this person. And Xander does something crazy. She's like, "Yeah, you remember Meredith Todd? She like died recently. She's like our age," and he's like, "No, I don't remember that. Like, how would you not remember that? If
Because
somebody your
tons of
age died."
people die in Sunnydale.
Really? That's just like a common thing?
Yeah, it's on the Hellmouth.
Uh, do other things happen aside from this that we don't see? Like people just go missing all the time?
Yep.
Wow.
But
That's crazy.
I mean, they even say like this is from a different school, you know, and Xander goes, "Oh, maybe we'll have some competition in the body count this year."
Oh yeah, he did say that. All right, so then we meet a couple of new characters this episode. We meet Eric first of all, and Eric is which one is
Wait, did you
Eric?
skip Giles practicing asking out Miss Calendar? Because that's adorable.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, Giles is all practicing on Miss Calendar.
Yeah.
It is cute. They're good in this episode. What'd you say this one was better than I Robot You Jane?
Yeah.
You're probably right because that stuff's really good in this episode.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tell us about our new characters.
All right, Eric, he's like a photographer kid, goes around taking pictures. Chris is like this smart science fair kid that Willow seems to kind of have the hots for. They'd make cute ginger babies, right?
Yeah. Nice nerdy ginger babies.
Yeah. Cordelia says something crazy. She says that the science fair this year is mandatory for everybody. Like, did everyone has to compete in the
I
science
had to
fair?
do that in high school.
You had to compete in the science fair. What'd you do?
I remember I did. I made people listen to different genres of music, and I would calculate how it affected their heart rates.
What would you determine?
You know, people are calmed by classical. People are fired up by rock and roll. I don't
Wow,
know.
who could have known that?
I know.
Well, you didn't do. Is this a fruit or is this a vegetable?
Tomato,
what
fruit or
Cordelia did.
vegetable. Yeah.
No, I thought that was good. So yeah, that guy was pretty weird, and he says something.
Can I tell you about these two actors?
Yeah, tell me.
Because they both had very opposite careers. All right. Eric, the creepy photographer guy,
I'll guess he was better. His was better.
he had a much better career. Yeah.
Yeah, he had like a little spark to him a little bit.
He started in the 80s as a child actor, and he's in like a ton of shit. And this is just a blip on his resume because he's in so much. He goes on to befriend Quentin Tarantino. He's in 3 Quentin Tarantino movies in a row: Death Proof, Inglorious Bastards, and Django Unchained. And not only that, he gets himself a nice career as a screenwriter. He's the co-writer with Edgar Wright of Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Incredible. Meanwhile, the guy who plays Chris, the science geek, This was his first credit, Buffy, so that's very important for his resume. Then his big break was supposed to be The Rookie in 2002. He's in the movie The Rookie with Dennis Quaid, and but then nothing happened for him after that. He quit the biz in 2006 and committed suicide a year later.
Wow. What year was that? I'm sorry.
Well, he quit in 2000. The movie The Rookie was 2002. He quits the biz in 2006, kills himself 2007.
So 10 years after this episode.
Yep.
Wow, that's upsetting. All right. All right. Anyway, how do we move on from that? What happens next?
Hey, what's next?
They learned that the girl from the grave died in a car wreck, and she had two other friends with her. So they're like, all right, we're going to go to the grave and dig up those other bodies and see if they're there to see like what is going on exactly, right?
Yeah.
So they go to dig them up, and I like this. Xander and Giles have to dig while Buffy and Willow just get to chat. And they're talking about like Angel and everything that's going on with that. And I guess we didn't mention earlier that Cordelia had talked about like there's a guy Daryl that
Yeah, Chris had a brother Daryl who died in a rock climbing accident. And he was like a big football player at the school.
Yeah, I don't love the Daryl parts. I mean, I like the end kind of, but I don't love most of the stuff with Daryl. Is weird choices they make with him, but yeah, as you said, he died and all that stuff. So that's what they talk about is Daryl.
And Buffy says, "I was raised to believe that men dug up the corpses and women." What did she say?
Women like have the babies or something.
Yeah,
like
have the babies. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a good line.
Very funny. So then Cordelia is walking home and she's like getting stalked by something, and you think she's just gonna get taken again. And I was like, well, they did that the last episode. Don't just take her again. But they don't. Angel's there. And he was like, hey, I'm like looking for Buffy.
She kind of does get taken later in the episode, though. She's pretty much kidnapped
really?
2 episodes in a row.
Oh, damn, that's a bummer. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're exactly right. But yeah, she finds a hand in the dumpster. And they're like, oh, shit, we found a hand. What's going on there? and they Angel says that it was like a really nice cut. They didn't like it wasn't like an amateur. This person knew what was up.
Right.
And Willow, like she's done this before where she's like, it could be me. I could be the villain. I forgot what, maybe the computer episode where they're like, what? So it has to be someone who knows how to do this. Where she's always like, well, it could be me. But we learned that it's those other guys. That she gets like the locker combinations. We go to the lockers, and we find like
he's got a lot of anatomy textbooks and shit.
All the incriminating evidence that could exist.
Yeah.
Is in his locker.
Oh, that's right. In Chris's locker, they find anatomy textbooks, and then in Eric's locker, they find that weird collage that's like of different ladies' body
the
parts.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So we meet Mom, Chris and Daryl's mom, and she is pretty distant, like Buffy was last week. I guess Buffy's doing better this week.
Yeah, she's doing much better.
Okay, that's good. And Mom, she's like just like chain smoking and on her chair,
and watching old videotapes of her dead son playing football. It's like the most depressing thing ever.
Yeah, very sad. And Chris is like, "I'm gonna leave, Mom," and Mom, I'm gonna go. I'll be back later.
I don't care. You're not Daryl.
Very sad. Then we get what's the other one's name? Eric. He's like, my girl. I'm talking about my girl. So that's pretty good. And we see they put together, the photos was for the collage. Oh, da da da. But I guess we already knew that. Then here we go. We get some great stuff here. Giles and Jenny. Do they have a ship name?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think you can really. I don't think you can really do that. We get mention of the techno pagan again. What is that again?
It's just sort of a like.
She's not a threat. She's not harmful.
No, no, no. She just like uses technology and magic together.
Okay. Well, earlier, by the way, they had mentioned like when he was nervous, Buffy was like, "Ask her like if she likes Mexican," and he was like nervous. But here, she sort of makes the first move. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to a football game. I'll see you there." And he's like, "What football game?" And she's like, "Yeah, we'll go, and then we'll go. How do you like Mexican?" And he's like, "Whoa, that was easy."
Yeah,
Um,
she goes, "I'll
and
pick you up, and then we'll grab some food, and then we'll go to the game together. How's that sound?" And he's like,
yeah,
"Fuck,
she's a
awesome."
boss. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's cool. And
she's
so,
got a new haircut this season too, and it's sexy.
oh really? I didn't really notice her
Yeah,
haircut.
it's nice.
I feel bad. Giles says something weird here, where we go to a different scene. Giles is like, "Hey, I like spoke to the authorities, and they were like, we found a bunch of heads. So that they found 3 heads, which means there has to be an extra body somewhere because they didn't use those heads. I guess something like that is what he says.
Right.
So they're like, all right, well, I guess there's more shenanigans going on, and so Chris and Eric are two
Well, they're
villains.
scouting. They decide they need to murder somebody to get ahead.
Yeah, but only Eric. Well, Eric's like the manic one. Chris is like, I'm not really into the whole killing part. I want to use like dead bodies, you know.
Right. But
But Eric's
Daryl
like, I
convinces
want to
him.
kill. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And they have pictures of wouldn't you know it, Cordelia, Buffy, and Willow as potential heads.
yeah. Who would have thought? There's no one else in the entire school.
That's right.
So then another scene. Is this where Buffy goes to mom's house?
I guess so.
Or goes to Chris's mom's house, and she's like, "Hey, I can ask you some questions." I have like some serious problems. Okay, she
Go
talks
for it.
about she talks about my son. He rushed for 200 yards and scored 5 touchdowns,
Four
and
touchdowns.
oh, sorry, and there's the little watch this great kick return that he had, and then we see this guy, and this guy's like chubby.
Yeah, but he's been reconstituted from a corpse. He might be a little bloated, my friend. He maybe didn't look like this when he was alive.
Is it a different? Is it somebody else's like midsection and
No,
head?
no, I'm saying like he kind of
Did
he
he
could have.
drown? Does he have a bunch of water inside of him?
Who knows, man? He was rock climbing.
All right, I guess his bones made all this
Whatever. He
blood.
looks fine for a high school football player.
This guy's like the greatest player of all
They just
time,
cast a
man.
dude to look creepy because he's a Frankenstein now.
No, this guy should be like a right tackle.
Jesus Christ.
I thought they got it all wrong. None of it made sense to me. Um, and then Buffy sees that Cordelia is the prime suspect, and she's like, "Oh my god, I gotta go save Cordelia." So she goes and she saves Cordelia, and all that's great. And then she realizes, oh, the whole thing is that they're trying to keep the brother alive. That's what this is all about. So they go. Oh, we go to the football game,
Yeah.
right? This was kind of cool. Great football game scene where Xander and Willow sort of crash the party on Giles, and I liked this moment where Daryl is looking under the bleachers at Cordelia. I sort of like that
And
shot.
he's feeling sort of forlorn because there's the football game going on. He's like, I used to be so amazing at that.
Yeah, I didn't really care about that much because it made no sense to me.
Fuck
But
off.
I liked the Cordelia part under the bleachers, and
I like the
then
part where Miss Calendar offhandedly calls it a date, and Giles is like, "Did you say date?" She goes, "You caught that, huh?"
yeah, and then is it at the end? She says like something about a second date, and
Yeah,
then
and
the
he
same
says,
thing
"Did you
happens.
say second date?" And she says, "You caught that, huh?"
Yeah, pretty good. Um, so then something else. So he takes Cordelia and he's like gonna do the whole thing on her, and he says to her, like, I'm so sorry that I ignored you in the past. That's like I just didn't buy that this guy was like the greatest running back and more popular than Cordelia is. That he's
No,
not giving
no, no, no,
Cordelia
no.
the time of day.
I think it's because Cordelia, when he was like a popular football player, was in like 8th and ninth grade.
What? He's
He
younger than Cordelia.
he's older than Cordelia. They showed him playing football in Sunnydale, and they said the game was in 1995. So if he was like on the varsity team in 1995, like Cordelia didn't enter high school until like 1996.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So he's been okay. All right.
So I think
So
it's like she was this kid who was like hanging around him while he was fucking the older babes, and now it's like she's an older babe, and he's like, "Well, let me get that head."
it's like it's like in the Marvel universe, like you're blipped and then you come back and like everyone's older and you're like, oh, you're like seeing everybody differently.
Sure.
Sorry to bring Marvel into it. So then we get the whole fire part. Buffy comes in, she saves everybody, and
Xander saves Cordelia.
right, great moment later. And Daryl goes and he decides he's gonna die with his beloved, that other body that was in there. And I sort of liked that ending. I didn't like Daryl that much, the whole football part, but I liked that ending for Daryl. What'd you think about that?
I mean, it's fine. We don't need to see Daryl again, so it's good that they killed him.
Yeah, I like that. So then we outside. There's like a bunch of fire trucks and stuff, and Angel's there, and Jenny's there. She's with Giles, and Xander's like, "Well, I guess this is my destiny. Everyone's gonna have somebody except me."
and
And he's
and
like
you,
with
Willow.
Willow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like they have a. I don't understand what the play is here with them. Like the way they write them is so weird. I think I don't really get it.
I think they're
But
best friends, but Xander kind of manipulates her a little bit.
yeah, I don't like it. I don't like their dynamic.
Yeah.
I want to, but I don't. I like Buffy and Xander, and I like Buffy and Willow, but Willow and Xander, I'm on the fence
Very
about.
fair. Very fair.
All right, so then we get Cordelia. Great moment from Cordelia. She's like, hey Xander, you know, I didn't get to thank you earlier. He's like, hey, I'm talking to Willow. And he's like in the middle of telling Willow, like, well, I'm gonna end up alone. It's very funny.
Yeah.
He really doesn't like like throughout the whole run of Buffy so far. He's been like messing with her hair, saying your hair sucks. He really does not like Cordelia.
Yeah, it was Jesse that was attracted to Cordelia.
Fucking
She just
Jesse.
annoys Xander.
Yeah, from the first episode. You're right about that.
Mhm.
Goddamn Jesse. Um, all right, so then we get to the cemetery. As I said, we open in the cemetery, we close in the cemetery, and Buffy's there, Angel's there. They're talking about what happened. They keep saying this line. I guess they repeat the same line a lot in these episodes. They say, "Love makes you do the wacky." They're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
something
that.
Willow said at the graveyard earlier, and Buffy echoes it in this scene.
Yes, and he tells her basically like, "Hey, I lied earlier. I actually was jealous about what took place between you and Xander. And is it weird that I'm 240 and you're 17?" And I say yes.
Yeah,
What do you
I
say?
agree. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, there you go.
But they are
Yeah,
like coupley in this scene. They're like boyfriend and girlfriend, kind of.
yeah, he's really good. I'm like an Angel, even though it is a little bit weird. But he's like, yeah, I'm jealous of Xander because he's like there and he gets to like you get to eat lunch together and he gets to like chat with you and
And
like
he
hear your
gets to
jokes.
see you in the daylight.
Oh yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, I do look bad in the nighttime or something like that.
No, no, she said, I don't look great in direct sunlight. See, you're getting the best of me.
Oh, does she say that?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but yeah, and then they like walk home or whatever. I don't know,
yeah.
but
Holding
it's nice.
hands, holding hands, and we get some nice music in that scene too.
Yeah, we do. We do. They've really done. What was the other music in this episode? I felt. What was the other music thing we talked about?
Yeah.
Oh, the my
Oh
girl
yeah.
talking. That was also good in this episode.
Yeah.
All right. I give it a 3. I
Me too.
enjoyed it for the most part, and I will put it between Nightmares and Never Kill a Boy on the First Date. Number 9 out of 14. How does that
Oh,
sound?
sounds good. Read me my list from the top down.
Okay. Prophecy Girl, When She Was Bad, Angel, The Pack, Out of Sight, Out of Mind, Welcome to the Hellmouth, The
Out
Harvest.
of mind, out of sight, bro. That was the
Oh
whole
shit!
thing.
Mine is right. Your side
All
is
right,
wrong.
keep going.
After that is Welcome to the Hellmouth. The Harvest. Number 8 is Teacher's Pet. Witch. Nightmares. Never Kill a Boy on the First Date. The Puppet Show.
Put
I,
this.
Robot, You, Jane.
What's after Nightmares? Never Kill a Boy on the First Date? I'm
Yes.
gonna pop it there too.
All right. Do we have it exactly between those two?
Yeah.
Nightmares. Some assembly required. Never kill a. Wow, look at that. And then the Puppet Show. We have them exact. And then I, Robot, You, Jane. Except I have Out of Mind, Out of Sight below it, and The Harvest below it.
Yeah, and I have those pretty high up.
I think our biggest disagreement so far is I love The Witch and I dislike The Harvest.
And I love The Invisible Girl.
What's that one called?
Out of Mind, Out of Sight.
Right. Yeah, those are really our biggest differences. And you love The Pack also.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fell on Job's eyes. Sorry, that was the song from when they're marching.
All right. So 3 stars. My MVP. It's tough. Do you just go Buffy again? I sort of like the Giles and Miss Calendar stuff.
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna go fucking. I'm gonna
I
give this
also like
one to
Buffy
Miss
and Angel.
Calendar. I'm gonna give Miss Calendar my MVP this up.
I kind of want to too, but what like I'm replacing Buffy on this episode. It seems kind of weird. Buffy was good this episode, right?
Yeah, she was.
All right, I'm doing it. I'm going with Jenny Calendar. She was really laying the smackdown. Like, this is what I want, and I thought she was really cute and good. So there you go, Jenny.
Who's your LVP, Daryl?
Jenny from the Hellmouth.
Nice.
Where's she from originally? Did she move here this year or last year?
We find that out later in the season. I don't want.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. What'd you my LVP?
Yeah.
Daryl, miscast, I thought. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I might go with him too. Let me just think about it for a second.
Don't say Chris. Don't.
No. I'm not gonna be an asshole. He's fine in this episode. Yeah, I'll go with Daryl also. I'll go with Daryl.
Willow's not even bad this episode.
Willow's a very good character.
She's my most consistent LVP though.
I know.
She's like half the episodes probably is Willow. The other half is like a villain. I don't know. Or like a boyfriend, stand-in boyfriend.
Owen.
I liked Owen. You hated him way more than I did. You were like, he's such a douchebag, is what you said, I think.
Oh, come on. He gives you that pocket watch. Fuck that guy.
I love Emily Dickinson, right?
Yeah.
What did you say specifically?
I carry my Emily with me everywhere. It's like a security blanket. Yeah.
Security blanket. All right, so mine was Daryl. Who was yours again?
I went Daryl also.
Wow, so sorry to Daryl. What's next week?
Oh, well, next week, 2 crucial episodes. First, we'll be getting School Hard.
All right, I'll guess that is like Die Hard.
In a school?
Yes.
Okay. And then Inca Mummy Girl.
Right, I guess that's about a mummy that is also a girl.
I gotta say, your guesses are pretty on the money this week.
Wow, yeah, those seem pretty self-explanatory. This one was good. Some assembly required had a lot of different meanings. I liked that one. That one was clever. They got me. All right, well, I guess that's it this week, right?
That's it for this week, and next week we'll be meeting like 4 crucial new characters.